and I find out mortgage is a good industry where I can help people finding their first home.
What are the latest trends in the mortgage industry? And also tell me one misconception which people have about mortgage agents and mortgage.
If you are buying your second or third property, people are thinking, now I'm buying my second or third property, I need 20% down payment. But no,
Actually, we are neighbors. I just recently got to know that we are neighbors. So, Ajit, what is one advice you want to give to our first time home buyers who want to purchase their very first home in Canada?
if as an investor somebody wants to make money, they can also go for the interest only mortgage when they want to flip the house.
Welcome to Vacants Unlocked. We are starting our very first podcast channel in Ottawa for the real estate, investments, property management, and more. Today, our guest is Mr. Ajit Kachariya. And for myself, my introduction, I'm Harpreet Singh. I'm a licensed real estate agent with the Sutton Group Ottawa Realty. So, Mr. Ajit Kachariya, welcome to our show, to our very first podcast with Vacants Unlocked.
Thank you so much for inviting me here.
So,
Really
Ajit-
appreciate.
No problem. So, Ajit ji, बताइए something about yourself, a little brief introduction, along with what brings you in the mortgage industry.
So my name is Ajit Kachariya. I'm working with Referral Mortgages Incorporation, which is based in Ottawa, and I came to Canada in back in 2017. So my father back home, he's in real estate, and who inspired me. So I always wanted to start something in real estate in Canada, and I find out mortgage is a good industry where I can help people finding their first home and I can guide them towards their home ownership. So basically, my father is inspiration for me, and this is like I think so. Ottawa is a good market to start your real estate thing, and
That's great. That's great, actually. Yeah. And our story is kind of similar, like my father was also into the real estate, and I started my career in Ottawa as a mortgage agent too, and then later on we jumped it and into the property management, as you know. And we got pretty busy, occupied with property management that I couldn't have time for the mortgage things now. And that was the reason that I was full time into the property management before. But right now I'm jumped into the real estate as a realtor and as a new industry agent. But definitely welcome again to our show.
thank you so much.
So, Ajit ji, tell me one thing. What are the latest trends in the mortgage industry? And also tell me one misconception which people have about mortgage agents and mortgage.
So right now in the current market, interest rate is fluctuating. So it's going up and down in last 4 to 5 months. If you're talking about variable rates, because of the Bank of Canada's current scenario, it's going down. And if you're talking about the fixed rates are connected with the bonds. So lately, bonds are even fluctuating.
Correct.
So we cannot figure it out which one you should go for,
yeah.
fixed or variable. So normally, interest rate is individual's choice. So which one they should go, because whenever people come and talk to me that they wanna get mortgage, everybody they have a different scenario. For example, somebody wants to stay in that house for a longer time,
Yeah, yeah,
then fixed rate is good for them. But they just say, you know what, I don't want to stay in this house for maybe like longer time,
Yeah,
and they want to move out within 1 or 2 years. If somebody wants to refinance the house, so at that time the variable rate is good for them because they don't pay penalty too much.
That's correct. Yeah, it's pretty much deep dive in topic, right? I mean, everybody's situation is different. Some people have like bigger down payments. Some people are buying their first home. Some people are investing, or some people are just upgrading or downgrading, whatever the reason is they want to change, right? So everybody's situation is pretty much different in this world. Yeah, you're right.
Absolutely. And you know what, there is a misconception right now. Everybody think they need at least 20% down payment, but they don't really need it. So if you are buying your second or third property, People are thinking, now I'm buying my second or third property, I need 20% down payment. But no, if they are gonna live into that house, they can buy with the house with minimum down payment. So it's really bad misconception right now among the people going on.
So what do you think? What sort of down payment is actually required? Like if it's not 20%, then what is the minimum? Is there any minimum range or like?
Yes. So if you are looking to purchase a home with 500,000, let's say 500K, so you need 5% of the 500K. Now, let's say if you're buying a house more than 500K, so in that scenario, you need 5% of the first 500 and 10% on the remaining amount.
That's good to know. That's great. Yeah. And by the way, just forgot to ask you one more thing. So are you full time into the mortgage or
Yes,
how it works?
yes, I'm a full-time mortgage agent in Ottawa.
Yeah, okay. That's great. Also, I recently get to know that you are running some sort of other business also.
Yes, I have a spa called Divine Day Spa,
Okay.
which is located on Hazelden and Castlefrank Road.
Which side?
Hazelden and Castlefrank, intersection of Hazelden and Castlefrank.
Oh, okay.
People live in Kannada, they know Indian supermarket.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
we are in the same plaza.
Oh,
And my
wow.
wife and my friend's wife, they both handle the business.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. Actually, we are neighbors. I just recently got to know that we are neighbors. I just joined
Nice.
the same brokerage just besides you is the Saturn Group, right?
Nice.
Yeah, yeah, just on the
Congratulations.
corner. Yeah, thank you. So I'm a full-time realtor there. You can see me there anytime between 9 to 5. I'll be there
Absolutely.
all the day, right?
Yeah.
Good to know. So, Ajit, what is one advice you want to give to our first-time home buyers who want to purchase their very first home in Canada? And also, there are a couple people, who want to invest. So, what sort of advice to give to you guys?
So the only advice I would like to give to first time home buyer, whenever they're buying their first home, don't rush. Just keep calm and learn the whole process.
Yeah.
Because while buying your first home, mortgage is really important. Right now, people they're just thinking about interest rate. But interest rate is not just a thing. You also have to think about terms and conditions, that what terms and conditions you are getting while taking a mortgage. So I'll give you the best example right now. Uh, someone just got a mortgage, and they got a mortgage with a fixed rate, and which was very low interest rate, and now they want to sell the house within 1.5 year,
Okay.
and they find out if they're selling their house, they will end up paying $35,000 penalty,
Oh my God.
which is too much.
Yeah.
And they did a mistake, that when they when they got the mortgage, they didn't see the terms and condition, that what sorts of penalty they are paying, and in which conditions they are going to pay the penalty.
Yeah.
And that's really important part of while taking a mortgage, that what sorts of penalty you are going to pay, and what sorts of things you should prepare for. Another thing is down payment. While taking a mortgage, lender is going to ask you for at least 1 to 2% of the closing cost in your bank account. Sometimes first time home buyers, they don't consider that, and they just have, okay, I have $50,000 in my bank account, that's great, but they don't have closing cost in their bank account.
Yeah.
And that's where sometimes they get stuck. Another thing always first time home buyer do, before closing of their home, they just go buy furniture,
Yeah.
and then it can impact their financial situation, and
Or they may buy a car or
oh,
some,
yes,
yeah, some
absolutely.
other big transaction,
Yeah,
right?
and
Yeah.
everything will be shown in their credit, their bank statements and everything, and
Yeah.
it's a problem.
So I think it's advisable you close your house first, and even if your finance allows you, just go the next day and buy a new car. It's up to you, right?
Yeah, as soon as you close your
Yeah.
house,
Yeah.
first see that what's your monthly payment of the mortgage,
Right.
how much you are making money, and if you have some leftover, spend money wisely.
Right.
So that's sorts of advice I would like to give to the first time home buyer. And
And what about investors? Like, what sort of advice you want to give to the investors who are actually like for example, if anybody is buying a home today, being a first time home buyer, but then later on after a year or so, like they want to sell and now they are checking on their second home and they want to rent their first one and then they are a kind of investor now, right? So what sort of advice you want to give them?
so whenever somebody want to do this kind of thing, that they wanna rent their first home and buy another home, they always check with the mortgage agent that what sorts of rental income they are gonna get from their first home, and what sorts of down payment do they have. So everything we have to go by the scenarios. Everybody, they have different scenarios, different down payment, different credit scores. So it depends on person to person,
Right.
that what sorts of qualification they have. Sometimes somebody will be qualified just from their income. Sometimes they have to sell their first home to buy a second home. So it depends on the person to person.
Right.
And if as an investor somebody wants to make money, they can also go for the interest only mortgage
Oh.
when they want to flip the house. So flipping the house means they just buy an old house, and they just do some renovations, and they sell the house and they make a profit on that.
That's actually a good idea. And another thing coming in my mind is like, for example, about down payment. If you talk, right, like being a first time home buyer, if somebody paid like 5% down and bought a house, now they are selling or they are, just refinancing and taking the another run. So what sort of down payment again they need? Is that okay if they just require 5% again for the second home, or is the little bit higher down payment do they need, or like?
Yes, so let me tell you something. So when they're buying their second home, they don't really need 20% down payment as soon as they are gonna live into that house.
Okay.
So if the house is owner occupied, and according to their income and down payment, if they are qualified to buy that house, they don't need 20% down payment.
Hmm, that's a good point. That's a good point. Really, now it looks like something, if you are buying, even if you are a first time home buyer today, you could be an investor in the near future, right?
Yep.
So you can buy second home, third home, whatever homes you want to buy, but it all depends upon your situation as well as down payment,
Yeah.
that kind of things, right?
Because everybody, they have a different scenario. Right now somebody is making $100,000, but after 3 years they are gonna make 150. Or right now, like recently bank from the government we got some numbers regarding unemployment, which is higher ever than 2017.
Wow.
So we don't know that after 3 years or in run of 5 years, they're gonna keep making 100,000, or they will go more, or they will go less.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody's situation changes or it's different from today, right? Yeah, you're right. Thank you for the advice, and I think this is a great advice. Thank
Yeah.
you. So, Ajiji, what sort of advice you want to give to our investors, especially if they want to leverage their finances from their present home or from their present equity?
Yes. So if somebody wants to buy an investment property, they want to just do their refinance of their current house. So they can refinance their current house, or there is a thing called HELOC, home equity line of credit. So they can use both the options to buy another property. And for that they just have to do some, like they just have to go from the qualification criteria,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
if they are qualified they can absolutely buy. And for the investor side, if somebody have 20% down payment, they can also buy multi-family units.
That's a good point. Yeah.
So buildings, it has like 3 to 4 units or more than 5 units. They can go buy those buildings, and over the time of 3 4 years, what they are gonna do? They are gonna do some little bit renovation, and they will just increase the rent of the building. It means they are gonna increase the price of the building.
Yeah, exactly. I get a calls every day from a lot of people asking me about like they want to refinance their home and they want to purchase the another one. and they want to rent their present home, right? And then if they're buying another home, but they're buying just a single home or some that kind of home only, why don't people think to buy multi-family homes, or like the multi-unit apartments or something like that, where they can get more rental income? That's just an income thing.
The only reason I see, there's lack of management. So people, they don't want to do managements. For example, if somebody is buying a multifamily with
Yeah.
5 units,
Yeah.
and they have to manage 5 people, which is difficult. To me, they should give contract to some property managers, and they can just make good money.
Yeah, yeah. That's the reason we are here to help them out, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, what about the recent news which I hear about the 30-year amortization? What sort of changes are there, if you can advise to our first-time home buyers as well as investors or anybody who have their house or want to purchase?
Yeah. So in the past,
Yeah.
what was the misconception that everybody need 20% down payment, right? But now, if anybody wants to buy a house with minimum down payment, they can do 30-year amortization. So they don't need to go for 25. They
Yeah.
can if they want. But if there is some sort of qualification issue, and we can stretch the amortization to 30-year, and we can lower down their monthly payments, and we can increase their buying power.
That's good. That's a good idea.
Also, if somebody wants to buy a house, and they have a basement, and if they can rent out the basement, we can also calculate that income for the qualification criteria. So which is a good option for the first time home buyer as well. They can rent out a portion of their house, and we can calculate that rent.
Wow, nice. Yeah, that's what we also do with a lot of our. I see a lot of people doing this, and definitely it's a good idea. So, Ajiji, on a closing point, do you want to say anything to our audience?
Yes, absolutely. So if you are buying your first home, if you have a renewal coming in, if you want to refinance your house and want to buy another property, you always reach out to me at 613-869-9219, and I'm here to help you out, and I will guide you throughout your whole mortgage process. And if you need any sorts of property management needs or any real estate help, you can always reach out to Harpreet ji.
Thank you so much, Ajit, for your valuable insights.
You're
And
welcome.
no problem. And our very first episode or podcast will gonna be live soon, where me, Harpreet Singh, and Mr. Ajit Kachariya will be here to guide you in every steps. We will be covering fixed versus variable mortgages. We will be covering on the myths about the mortgage, and also we will be covering about the insights, where you will be getting the insights on the buyers as well as the investors. So feel free to reach us out if you have any questions. Thank you very much.